How you doing? This is E. Matthews Jet. Today's December 21st, and it's 12:01 or 12:02 in the morning. I'm making this video because I haven't filmed videos for a while. For quite some time, I've been getting sick and weak, and I was going to work, and I didn't tell my bosses or anybody that I was getting sick and weak for quite some time. There was days I would walk to my bus stop and I couldn't even walk. I would be gasping for air and struggling, but once I got to work, I would put on a face like everything was okay. On November 1st, I started getting a little bit of asthma. On November 1st of 2025, I started getting a little bit of asthma, and I used my asthma pump and it went away. On November 2nd of 2025, around 2:20 in the afternoon, my asthma blew up from small to a high degree, like very fast. It just went up. So I got dressed and I jumped on my Harley and I drove myself to the hospital. And my lady, she was at the mall with some friends. On that Sunday, she said, "Hon, I want to go hang out with the girls." I said, "Go ahead. Go, and I'll stay home and watch TV and chill." So it was about 2 something in the afternoon. I opened up a beer. I took a couple of zips. I don't remember what I did exactly, but I went around the house. And when I got back to the living room, my asthma blew from this level to that level within under a minute to where I couldn't breathe. I was struggling to gasp for air. So I just got dressed and I said, let me get the hell out of here. Because I never call an ambulance. I don't call Ubers. I don't even call friends. I got a whole bunch of friends. I don't call anybody. So I just got dressed. I jumped on my Harley and I drove myself to the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, I told them I got asthma. So they ran some tests on me and they brought me in like an emergency. I didn't even, I was brought in so quick that I couldn't even understand why it was happening to me. So as they're doing tests on me, the doctor comes up to me and says, "You're not having an asthma attack, you're having a stroke, and you're about to go into a full heart attack." And I didn't know none of this, I thought I was doing okay. I thought I had a little asthma. I'll go to the emergency room, they'll give me some albuterol and send me home within 2 hours. Well, it didn't happen like that. So next thing I know, I'm told I can't leave the hospital. I'm in a severe critical situation and I need to stay. And the doctor says, "We can't hold you here because if you want to go home, you can go home. And there's nothing we can do about it. But the doctor says if you go home, you're going to die of a massive heart attack within 2 to 3 days." The doctor said, cardiologist said to me, "You're not going to last a week alive in your house. So we advise you not to leave the hospital. So you need to stay." So I said to the doctors, "Okay, what can I do? You just told me that if I go home, I'm going to die. So I got no choice but to stay." So I stood. So other doctors came to me. It was like 4 to 5 heart doctors and special doctors that came interviewing me and ordering all types of tests because it took a couple of days of them running tests before they decided to do open heart surgery on me. So they told me, "We're going to run tests to see if you qualify for us to do open heart surgery on you. They said if I didn't qualify for this, I would probably be sent home and die. So I said, okay, do whatever you got to do. I had no choice. What choice do you have? You got a couple of doctors telling you that if you go home within a couple of days, you're going to die of a massive heart attack. I've been a hardworking guy my whole life. I've been a good guy. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't do drugs. I'm not an alcoholic. I drink 2 or 3 beers on the weekend. Uh, the only thing I do that I shouldn't is I eat a lot of food. I do a lot of barbecues. I love ribs, fried chicken wings. I eat a lot of food. My weakness in my life is food. That's it. I love food. You show me a good plate of food, I'll eat the damn thing. So the doctor said to me, Ernest, we're going to admit you. We're going to send you upstairs to the intensive care unit. We're going to run all these tests on you. And then we're going to send you to the operating room. So they send me upstairs into the intensive care. And they prep me to do open heart surgery. So they shaved my chest. They shaved my beard because I had a beard. They shaved my arms because they told me in case we need to pull veins out of your arms, you need to be shaved. They shaved my pecker. I didn't want to say the word. And they shaved my legs. Okay, so they ran all the tests and they told me that at 7 o'clock in the morning, they're going to pull me out of my room. Oh, and the night before they took me out of the room for surgery, 2 nurses took me into the bathroom, took all my clothes off, and they shaved me. I was standing there in the buff in front of 2 nurses, and there was nothing I could do because I don't want to stand in the nude in front of 2 nurses, Okay, I was embarrassed, but they shaved the hell out of me. And they wouldn't let me out of that bathroom until I was completely shaved. So the next day in the morning, around 7 o'clock in the morning, actually it was before 7, it was 6 something in the morning when they came in and brought it in a stretcher and told me, you need to come with us. So they took me to another floor. And let me tell you something, I see movies with operating rooms, but what I saw wasn't what I saw in the movies. This room was huge. It was the size of a mall, the room. Okay? And they had 4 to 5 surgeons, heart surgeons, and they had like 15 to 18 nurses, and they had 2 anesthesiologists. I don't know how to say it. The anesthesia guys. They had 2 of them. And they all introduced themselves to me. And they said, we're going to do the surgery on you. And in that room, they were playing rock and roll. Because as the doctor came into the hospital room to interview me, he asked me, what kind of music do you listen to? So I told him I listen to rock and roll all day. So when I went into the operating room, guess what they had playing? And it wasn't low, it was pretty loud. They were playing rock and roll. So the operation lasted 5 hours, 5.5 hours. It was the operation. But before the operation, they were prepping me for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours before the operation. So they opened me all the way down, and we have a bone here, and they cut that bone and spread it wide open to get to my heart. They told me, Ernest, we got to cut that bone We're going to open it up. We're going to do your surgery. And we're going to close that bone up. And we're going to sew it up with stainless steel wire. So that wire is going to stay with me for the rest of my life. So I went through that. I went in on November 2nd into the hospital for a little bit of asthma that I thought was going to come out. And I went in on my motorcycle, remember. I went in on my custom Harley Davidson that I parked at the hospital parking lot. So during the time that I was there, I was more concerned about my bike than what was happening to me. So where nurses, they parked their car in that parking lot, they found the bike. They would take pictures of it and come to me and said, "Oh, we found your bike and your bike is doing okay." Okay, so they opened me up like a can of spaghetti, and I had a quadruple bypass in my heart. They said all the veins in my heart, inside my heart, was clogged, and that is what brought on the stroke. So the doctor said to me, "You wasn't having asthma. Uh, your heart was fighting the blood and the liquids to go through the heart for me to continue living, that it was flooding my lungs and it was flooding my heart. So the doctor says your lungs are filled with liquid and your heart is filled with liquid, and it's going to continue filling with liquid until you go into cardiac arrest." So I didn't even know this was happening to me. I've been working my whole life. I've been a good guy. I don't bother nobody. I never thought that this would happen to me. And when I went into the emergency room, I went in because I thought I had a little bit of asthma. Next thing, within a couple of days, they opened me up. So I went in on the 2nd, and I was discharged on the 11th or the 19th of this month. And because I haven't worked for a whole month, I used up my sick days from my job. So my bosses didn't pay me the days that I was in the hospital. Even though my boss told me, "Oh, you're covered, we're going to take care of you." But by the end of the day, they didn't do a fucking thing for me. They didn't take care of me. So I had my rent coming up. I have almost 2,000. Within every month, I got almost $2,000 worth of bills that I got to pay out. So when I went back to my job to talk to my boss's wife, and I told her, "Listen, I got to pay these bills to lend me the money." Well, she loaned me half of the money, not all of it. So I'm still 1,000 and something in debt. Okay, I appreciate what they've done for me. I'm not here to bitch about them, but I needed all of it, not some of it, to clear my bills. So I'm still in debt. So I was discharged, like I said. What's the date? I was discharged on the 19th, and I've been in the house. I can't do nothing. I can't ride my bike. The doctor said that for 4 or 5 months. They said from 3 to 4 or 5 months, you can't ride your Harley, because my chest was open, and they said if I pull anything strong, heavy, I could rip up my chest. So I can't. And that's it. I've been living day by day, week to week, just trying to stay afloat, but all my bills are falling behind. And I got nobody to help me, so what can I do? I hope I don't get evicted from here. That's all I need is to wind up out in the street with all my shit and open heart surgery. So I haven't been filming videos because I was going through a lot of stuff before I went into almost cardiac arrest. And when I went into the emergency room, the doctor said, "You're lucky you came here because you could have died at home." So as I was having a stroke, I'm on my motorcycle taking myself to the emergency room. And I still can't believe that. Like, I knew I was struggling for air and I knew I was suffocating because I was suffocating for air. Well, I got my motorcycle helmet on and I'm riding my Harley to the emergency room. So, since I've been in the hospital, the nurses were very good to me. This hospital's awesome. It's called Hackensack University Center in New Jersey because I live in New Jersey. The doctors and the nurses, the best. They took care of me beyond belief. Okay, and before I had this heart attack, I went through pneumonia twice before that I almost died also. Because during the pandemic of COVID, by some reason, I caught pneumonia and it wasn't COVID. And I also spent 3 weeks in the hospital that I was in critical about to die. And I didn't have COVID because they ran through all the tests and the nurses told me that the COVID was going on, but what I had was pneumonia. But my pneumonia was so severe that it almost killed me. So I was released after the pneumonia was gone, and for a couple of years I was doing great. And I winded up in the hospital again with pneumonia that almost killed me again. Let me tell you something, I almost checked out twice because of pneumonia. And then the third time I wound up in the hospital about to die from my heart. And the doctor said to me that a lot of medications that were prescribed to me because of the pneumonia that I didn't take because I was supposed to keep up with the medications and my own stubbornness. I picked up a couple of medications, I drank them, and then I said, screw the rest because I don't need it. I feel great. Well, the doctors told me that me not taking those medications brought me all the way to where I'm at now. So that's what's happening to me. So I'm struggling. I pay my rent real late. I always pay my bills on time. And because I lost a month of pay, now, like, all my bills from this month, I'm paying it in the next month because I'm behind a month. So I'm struggling with all my bills. I I'm supposed to pay my rent on the first, and I paid it yesterday. And yesterday was, let me see. Yesterday was the 20. So my rent is like very late. I hope they don't charge me for late fees because I can't even, right now in this situation that I'm in, I can't afford no late fees. I am struggling. It's bad. So I got all my medical records here. I've been reading everything. Oh, I was told to come back to the cardiologist after I came out of the hospital. I went back, and they gave me a Hackensack Medical Center University uh, diploma that I passed the heart surgery. I wasn't gonna make this video, but a couple of my friends been telling me you need to put your stuff on the video. And this diplomats got all the heart surgeons that were in the operating room. There's a whole bunch of them. That were in the operating room that signed off that I did good. And when they ran all the tests on me, they said I qualified. That I scraped by, qualified for the open heart surgery. I don't want to pull up my shirt and show you my chest because that's embarrassing. But they opened me up almost 7 inches down and opened my chest wide open. And I had open heart surgery. So I hope things get better. Things were going great. You know, I'm not rich. I'm an employee in a company. You know, sometimes I brag that I'm doing a little bit better than I am because I don't want people to know my struggles. But, you know, now for the first time, I'm really struggling, and I never thought I would go through this. And that's my story. That's why I haven't been filming for a while. And before I almost had the heart attack, I was struggling. I was struggling to get to the bus stop, to the bus stop. I was struggling in the morning to get out of bed. I found myself in a situation that was weak, but I wasn't telling my old lady. I didn't tell nobody in my family. I'm stubborn. I don't tell people my business. You know, if people see me that I'm hurt, I stand up strong like I'm solid, doing great. But I was actually in a bad situation. And it sucks. So I hope things in my life get better. You know, I have a nice little apartment here. I've been dying to move out of here because I need bigger space. Like I was planning to move out of here and get a nicer, bigger place because I need to build my shop. I got everything all packed on top of me. If you look at my videos, everything's on top of me, and I can't stand it. I need bigger space. I wanted to rent or buy a building that's like a warehouse. I always dreamed of it, but it's not gonna happen. I don't see myself doing that. I see myself being stuck here for a long time the way things are going. You know, I always think big, thinking things are gonna get better, and with everything that I went through, I don't see that happening. You know, it's sad to say it, but I'm kind of screwed here. Okay, I don't want to cry on video because I'm not a crying dude, but internally I'm like heartbroken. Everything that I thought would be going great for me is not happening. You know, I watch a lot of videos. There's a lot of people I follow. You know, guns and gadgets. I follow so many videos. I'm a fan of. Emilia, the girl that does all the cars. I follow her. She's awesome. Right now, my mind is not in that, so I can't come up with all these names. But there's so many videos that I follow. And I apologize that I'm doing this video, even though my friends were telling me, do it, do it, do it. I didn't want to do it. But here it is. So I'm gonna upload this video. I'm E. Matthews Jet. I'm a hobbyist. I like to ride Harleys, fly model airplanes, run radio controlled cars. I'm a gun guy. I like to go to the gun range and shoot. I like to weld, tinker. If you look at my videos, E. Matthews Jet, you're gonna see all the stuff that I like to do. And the doctors told me that for a good amount of months I can't touch anything. I can't lift nothing heavy. I can't ride my bikes. I can't do nothing. I'm screwed. I'm sitting around the house like an idiot, and I want to cut and grind and weld, and I can't do nothing. That's it. You know, have a nice weekend. This is E. Matthews Jet signing out. You know, I hope there's better days. Oh, and this chair is falling apart. I was about to buy a brand new chair. Now I can't even get my chair. I got herniated disc. I got like a whole bunch of shit happening to me, and I can't do nothing about it. I said thank you. Have a good night. I love you guys. If you haven't seen me for a while, sorry about it. But that's what's happening in my life. Okay, thank you. How do I shut this damn thing off?